fan, I believe.
That's me, huge
Right?
Harry Potter fan.
I think you said you were a Hufflepuff?
It's you, Noah, I believe.
Oh, right, that's me. I'm the. I got.
That's what you. That's what you like to talk about, not me.
That's true. Yeah. Well, you are good at parcel tongue. I have to admit. I've been impressed. When we go to zoos, it's a.
Indiana Jones hates me.
That's true. Why did it have to be Monte Cristo? I think that's the actual line before they changed it. That's a Indiana Reddit, actually, I believe. Brazil versus Austria.
Sounds good.
That's right. Indeed. We started things out on Ruins here on Nepal. Brazil and Austria, like I said, looking for that 2-2 victory overall here, and it all begins right here due to on the Widowmaker. Meanwhile, on the Austria side, things not going with the Widowmaker, which is rare, actually, for this map. Instead, they're going to hide out.
Yeah, they're waiting for Steven to get into position in the back line on this Sombra, and everyone else is going to speed boost into the point. So they're right here on the flank. They're going to run up onto the high ground. Steven trying to get a hack onto Vetter, and he does.
Yeah, that's right, but he's going to need the follow-up, too. Can he get the kills? Meanwhile, Liko pouring arrows into the Austrian team right now. Vetter goes down. His mech disabled. Eclipse taken out by Dudu. Found him with the Widowmaker. Meanwhile, Liko goes high. It will be Austria to claim the point first, though. Brazil on the outside looking in.
And I think that was a relatively transparent strategy. The double sniper foiled by Austria's patience. But really, they had a lot of opportunities to decloak Steven there, remove the invisibility, and instead they gave them the setup without basically any resistance.
Yeah.
And so Brazil going to start losing the first control percentage here. Austria setting up forward, and you'll notice they're playing behind this cover. Steven on the flank once again.
Well, quick reset from Brazil, and they immediately swap over to that 3-3 comp. They're just going to try to battering ram their way in, but Steven already behind with that Sombra, trying to find a hack maybe on the Ole. We'll see. No, goes for the one on the Diva. Decides to just back off, do some damage. He's nearly got that EMP. Watt 7 down on the Austrian side, though. So Brazil with an opportunity. That EMP might come in handy. Will they dedicate it to this fight, though? I don't know. Earthshatter gets used. Watt 7 saving his. And with Sensonics going down along with Mr. Dragonlaw, I think if you're Austria, you want to save what you've got and come back with a strong team fight to just retake quickly.
Yeah, indecisive on the side of Austria. Steven couldn't get a quick enough hack off, and when he did, it was on Ole, the Moira of Brazil. So Moira could just keep walking forward with the rest of the death ball. Brazil going to be rolling through that point. Austria going to return, though, with that EMP still available. Like you said, they were hesitant to pull the trigger on it in that last fight. Steven behind them once again.
Yeah, that's right. Going in, and now Brazil trying to charge it forward. Steven goes out and uses that EMP. Hit a few people with it, but so far, now the kills start coming in. Dudu down. Mr. Dragonlaw picks that one up. Meanwhile, back on the point, Brazil trying to hold it as long as they can. The charge comes through. Neil has to back away to avoid that self-destruct. He's got his Earthshatter, too. And as soon as it's up,
oh, he got
pulled
canceled.
Out of it. What a cancel by Mr. Dragonlaw. Man, he's definitely lolling after that, but I don't think Neil would be. Meanwhile, Liko grabs too after the Graviton Surge comes in. Make it a third, and it looks like Brazil may have the last laugh after all in this fight. Looks like they're going to tie up on control percent pretty soon, too.
Yeah, they did have to use the Graviton, though. That's something they would have liked to have held on to. The positioning of the Shatter looked pretty good. Obviously, with the cancel from the hook wasn't going to happen. Austria can reset, come back with the Coalescence, and a Shatter of their own.
Mr. Dragonlaw is swapped to the Diva as well, so changing things up a little bit. Oh, goes after him. He hit the shield bash. I'm surprised that connected, actually. Dudu coming back in again. It's going to be the sound barrier for Brazil as they try to just push Austria back, but Neil comes in with the charge. That's one. Reinhardt out of the way. Brazil looking pretty good. Sensonics down. Players taking out their counterparts left and right. And Brazil still holding. Over 80% now. Rough start for them, but they have really seized control of Ruins here.
And right there, Austria wanted to use their ultimates, but the problem is they were in a 5 versus 6 because after the forced translocation, Steven wasn't close to the rest of his team. Made it easy for Brazil to win the player advantage scenario. Steven's still way in the back right now.
Yeah, that's right. Meanwhile, we're into overtime. Neil charging through the team, doing a ton of damage to everybody. Now swinging away. Watt 7 goes down. Everybody on Austria falling left and right. And it looks like despite despite Austria retaking for a moment, it's going to be Brazil getting the point in the end. They will secure the objective, and that is point A on Nepal, going over to Ilios, rather, going over to Brazil.
I think really right there, the issue was that Austria had the right idea. They were setting up with this Sombra, but they never had the coordination to properly pincer that attack. Steven was always too far away from the rest of his team, and he couldn't catch up either because the Lucio on the side of Brazil was speed boosting 6 into the front line of Austria, so they never really had the Sombra presence to change those fights. It was always just a little bit off, and it seemed like the tank core of Austria, alongside their supports, were just they were playing a bit too passively, and that didn't give Steven the time to move in to get the flank that he wanted.
Well, Sombra is really strong right now, but it does also require really good communication on your team to make the most out of, and if you lack that, then you see a lot of those positions where you're there, but like you know that doing the hack might not actually get your team too much, so hopefully they can patch it up a bit as they are going to run the Sombra again here on Well.
Liko back on his far, seen some great rockets from him.
Yeah, seen them run the Pharah into some kind of inopportune situations too, but this one's a little bit better.
Yeah, I think so. Well, you're going to be fine for the most part running the Pharah. And right now we have a melee right around the well.
Yeah, pretty much. As a point on locks here, Austria taking a little bit of it after forcing Brazil away. Liko doing a little bit more damage. He's so close to already having that barrage too. And hasn't really had a lot of pressure on him. There's not really too many heroes on Austria that can do too much, but Austria still manages to claim the point first. Barrage comes in really quick, but he only gets one. Takes himself out as Austria jumps up to meet him, and that's going to be Austria cleaning up the fight with that coalescence. And so what do you do now? Do you swap or do you stay on the Pharah with Brazil? Looks like they're sticking with it for now. What do you think?
I think you don't have to swap. Maybe Dudu will swap because he's the one who I think is the real issue here. Because right now they switched to Dudu because I think that, or switched to Tracer on Dudu because I think they wanted to stop the flanking Sombra. But Steven hasn't been flanking. What he's been doing is playing back with the rest of his team because of the Pharah. So now they realize that they want to death ball again. This is what was so effective for them in the first place.
All right, stick comes in. Zarya's shield prevents that damage though. Mr. Dragonwall not finding the pulse bomb he was hoping for. Meanwhile, Brazil filing in to try to retake this point. Steven has the EMP lurking in the back now. And Watt7 ready to jump on this team after the EMP goes off. Shield's eliminated. Could do a lot of damage with that. They're waiting for it again. They're taking so long to set this up. And in that time, Neil kills Minimi. Liko does go down. I think he took a trip off the edge there. The fight's still going. EMP, though, doesn't seem like it got a whole lot for them. Neil charges through, nearly got knocked off there. Man, he like flew over the edge of the well.
A lot
dangerous one for Einar.
A lot of hacks still coming down, though.
Yeah.
As we're going to see soon, Steven going to be coming back in, looking for those opportunities to use the Sombra.
A sound barrier for Austria as they try to cling to the point right now, up to 75% already. Ole pops the coalescence, tries to find some damage. Oh, but he gets hacked. It gets canceled. And Austria doing a good job of holding this one right now. Liko back on the scene at the moment. Decides to go after the Moira, who just fades away quickly, who nearly got knocked off again. He's got like no health, and Sensatics takes him down. Austria looking pretty good on Well here.
Shatter active right now. Trying to deal with this Lucio in the back line.
No, Austria just waiting this out. They're like, all right, you've got the sound barrier. We can just kind of poke in on the edge of the point, not let you take it.
Rally.
That better did get one into Mini-Me. Oh, there goes Sensatics, taken down by the Fire Strike. And Brazil slowly trying to take this point.
It's 99. This fight has been going on forever right now, Doa. Gonna have to use that self-destruct just to go ahead and reback right now. Steven finally falling, so at long last, Brazil gets control over the point in the center of Well, but they're going to have to run it all the way back to 100% Austria with plenty of wiggle room right now. Mr. Dragon gonna be stinking. Nope, yeah, that's the right change. Going over to the Doomfist right now. That's obviously in response to the Brigitte shift that happened earlier from Brazil's side, but because they were doing so well in that engagement and continuing to build the percent, no need to go after that switch early.
Yep. I mean, if you're Brazil, you can't make a mistake here. You give the point over once you're in trouble. They're going to try to go for the Graviton Surge. Adds into a couple kills. Dudu taken out by Mr. Dragonlaw already. You know, Eclipse off the edge. The Doomfist for Austria is down, and they're not able to reclaim the point. So Brazil has held for now, getting up to about 40 control percent.
This is a great time, though, as watch Alimau taxi Dudu back with the speed boost. A great time for Austria to strike because they're going to have that pick potential on the 3-3 composition from Brazil with the Doomfist. They've got so many ults. It'll set up a nice rocket punch if they can open with an EMP. Steven again on the back of the formation, on the back side of the Well, looking for that EMP, but you can see Brazil's hiding in these buildings. They are aware that this is a problem.
Oh, Steven gets decloaked, though. Going to the top, nearly gets knocked in. Mr. Dragonlaw gets a kill. Neil, nice boop on a Dudu. Mini-Me coming up big for Austria. There's the EMP to try to seal the deal. They really want to take the point back again. Ole goes ahead and pops that Coalescence, trying to stay away from the Sombra, but meanwhile, Austria does flip the point back. Goodbye, Ole, he's out. And Austria takes the point, and they will tie up Ilios.
That they will, and there was no good answer for Brazil in that scenario because they had to be separated and in those buildings to avoid all getting EMP'd on the open part of the point, or if they had been together on one of the sides, getting EMP'd in one of those rooms. However, what does that leave? That leaves one-on-ones for Doomfist to take advantage of in these confined areas, and the opening picks come through, especially onto Neil on the Reinhardt. So great swap there. From the side of Austria, that's what they needed. And they played a patient game, realized what their win condition was, and executed.
You know, as we watch Brazil, to me it feels more and more that we only really see them do two things. One is the 3-3, and the other is some variation with the Pharah. And we're not seeing a lot else outside of that. Do you think maybe the other teams in the World Cup are kind of figuring that out now?
I mean, I think, sure. I think people have figured out that 3-3 is generally strong, and a lot of the teams we had coming in here were intent on running this 3-3 because it's more forgiving when it comes to errors.
Sure.
So if you're confident that you can grind out the 3-3 in a 3-3 mirror matchup, basically, like we're seeing now, then we should go for it. And I think the Pharah is a little optimistic. So if anything, Brazil should keep doing this.
Now they're going to try. It's certainly what they've had the most success with, anyway. Neil getting a little bit low, though. 2-2 already down, and Austria in prime position to try to take this point. Nice boot from Mini-Me again. Takes the Reinhardt off the map. And that's going to be the control percent rolling early for Austria. And it's really not necessarily the 3-3 as much as we see potentially a late DMEC on the better. It's more the teams that have had the responses to the 3-3, like adding in the Sombra, adding in the Doomfist. It feels like those are the teams that have started to kind of pull ahead of the other ones that are just relying on the 3-3.
However, that's a very early grab.
Yeah, that's right, early, but not a lot of damage out of it in the meantime. Watt7 throws down the Earth Shatter, and it just pushes Brazil back. They don't jump in after it. But it does keep them at bay anyway. Dudu does take down Steven, so the man advantage coming in for Brazil at the moment. Big pin again, Neil. Of course you know he's gonna find it, man. Neil just pins everybody, right? Dudu down, Sonics gets one, and it's a brawl outside the point that Brazil's starting to pull ahead in. There goes Eclipse, and yeah, they're on there. Looks like they might be able to recap this. Trying to flip it.
Liko was the only one on Brazil with an ultimate up, basically, when that fight started, and it was a little too late to get their Coalescence into the mix to actually follow through. Also, not the greatest shatter from Neil there on the flank to continue the crowd control. That said, they're still able to win that fight thanks to Steven walking a bit too far forward. There was so much rally armor and Coalescence healing going on in that last engagement.
Whoa, he just walked past the shield! You can't check your corners if Reinhardt's just going to charge right through you. Good sound barrier, though, to try to keep everybody up. Mini-Me may have saved them until now. He saved them right until then. Yeah, okay.
And of course, you know, at the end of that, they actually had enough damage, so Venter's self-destruct was just fireworks celebrating their victory.
Mini-Me did a good job with the sound barrier. He put it on everybody that got knocked down, but then...
That's the Ryan Dream right there. Gets speed boosted around a corner straight for the fat shatter.
It is. Brazil had...
He's already on another one, by the way.
Yeah, dude, when you get like a big fire strike through a bunch of people, that's
Here we go. Same play, same play!
He did it again.
Same result.
All right, goes through with the charge. Hits one on Mini-Me right away. No sound barrier this time. Throws it through. And that's Brazil. Hey, you know, if it's not broke, don't fix it, right?
I don't think they expected him to have another shatter that quickly.
I don't think you generally do. Oh, now the stagger on Mr. Dragonlaw. Now it's Mr. Dragon. Sad.
Probably not laughing about that.
I don't know.
Well, they only had 50% of a shatter this time, but I do think Austria had no idea there was another shatter up that quickly. Otherwise, they would not have fallen for that trick again, and I think that was a hard read to make.
Yep. Austria grouping up for another push here. It's going to be about 85% now for Brazil. Liko really charged up. That's a ton of damage he's doing, and he's going to have that grab so fast. Dudu does drop, though. And so Brazil has to be careful here. They got to use these ults efficiently if they want to hold the point. Up to 95% already here. Austria trying to flip it. They do. They flip it before Brazil gets in there. No grab used just yet, but a grab for Austria gets used. Well, I guess there was a grab used. All right. I was looking at Liko.
But this is
Austria grabs the point.
Yeah, this is okay for Brazil because right now they're coming up on 6 ults, so you can gracefully lose that fight. You know they don't have a Graviton Surge anymore. You know they don't have a Rally. You do have a lot of that Rally armor still on them, however, but you're going to come back with a Rally of your own.
Sure.
I think that's a time where you choose to lose because you know how much of an advantage you're going to have going in the last fight of this round.
Yeah, you just got to win this fight if you're Brazil and you win the map. Big grab gets thrown in right away. Earth Shatter to try to seal the deal. And Ole just roasting people again with that Coalescence. 90% for Austria, but it looks like they're about to give that point right back over again. They do. 98-99. And that will be Brazil coming back in the 3rd round to take Ilios.
And that's what great shot calling looks like. You know, you have to know when in Overwatch to lose gracefully, maintain your ult advantage so you can come roaring back and make it easy for yourselves to close. That's what Brazil does. And that means a map win here on Ilios.
Yep, that's right. It's like that one song, you gotta know when to hold him. Now, he was talking about cards in poker, but in Overwatch, you're talking about ults.
That's very true.
You know when to hold him, right? There you go. So, a victory in map 1 for Brazil. It was certainly one that they had to sweat a little bit to get it. I mean, round number 2 looked a little bit rough, but hey, they came back in the end, took it.
I like how Austria adapted too in terms of their Sombra use on Dwell. Yeah. They stopped doing the flanks that were clearly not working. They didn't have the coordination in order to pull those off. And instead, Steven starts playing with the rest of his team and waiting for Brazil to come in because they recognized that Brazil was trying to all-in them because they knew the Sombra wasn't there. When you try and all-in somebody and the Sombra is there, guess what? Your tanks get hacked, and then it's an entirely different game. So a lot of adaptation over the course of just those 3 points on Ilios.
Yeah, I liked the compositions a little bit better on Austria than on Brazil, but you can't question the effectiveness and the communication that Brazil had to kind of make their comps run a little bit smoother. Austria still looks a little bit uncoordinated in terms of how to move around.
Well, we'll see if they can pick it up. It will be Kings Row, the ever-present hybrid map at this stage of the Overwatch World Cup. But this time, though, it's Austria picking it and not Brazil.
That's true. But everybody loves Kings Row. And I mean, you pick this map, you're comfortable on it. You know the other team is comfortable on it too, but that's just kind of what makes it a great map, right? You get to see 2 teams playing in a way that they kind of think is best, and probably a way that they feel that they're the best at.
Yeah, I do agree. A lot of these teams, this is the comfort map, right? This is a release, a launch map that so many players have played and had scrim experience on over time.
It's a great map. Indeed.
Indeed.
So kind of a sinister story though with this one. And oh, there's that smog again. Man, hope you're wearing your masks or are a robot. See, the thing is you know, London apparently doesn't like Omnics in the future, and yet they're polluting all their air, so only Omnics will survive before too long. It kind of seems counterproductive, right? I don't know. Scrap all robots, see? It's like, yeah, let's throw them into the furnace that belches black clouds of pollution into our sky. Blood, not circuits. I say, why not both? You know.
Why not a beautiful cybernetic future?
Yeah, that's right. Integrate with technology.
I think Omnics and people should literally become one.
It's possible. What's up, Mandata? Somebody left you some cool lightsaber hilts. Check that out.
I think that's a scroll casing.
No, I think you're wrong. What's your favorite lightsaber hilt, Monty?
I don't know the lightsaber hilts.
You don't? Oh, come on. You know, I'm a Qui-Gon guy, but I have to say that
I mean, the prequels were your favorite movie.
Luke's Jedi lightsaber in Return of the Jedi was also quite cool. The green one, you know. But
you didn't deny the prequels were your favorite movies.
All the prequels are better than Last Jedi, so that part's true at least. Oh, Brazil wasting no time getting in there on the defense. Watt 7 responds with a pin on the doo-doo. And action begins immediately. The May from Steven, though, I wonder if he's going to stick with it here. Looks like he will not. Yep, going over the Brigitte. They were trying to do something a little bit tricky as they moved in. Didn't work out due to Brazil's aggression, so they're going to swap things up. Go back to a more basic composition. Back to that 3-3. Watt 7 waiting in. And that'll be about it. Kneel down.
And now this will be the cleanup here for Austria. Liko.
Wow.
Going to be able to hack Mini B at the end, but he's not going to be able to save the fight for his team. Ole on the high ground will be the final member, besides Tudu, to fall, who is shield bashed on the point.
That is a fast point A take by Austria.
Yeah, very fast. Second attack working out for the Brazil. Maybe playing a little bit too aggressive on their first defense, but you know what? They have an EMP. They've got a nano boost, so they have tools to work with here at the choke. They're going to reset right here. Liko looking forward, trying to see if there's any changes Austria's made. There are not, and they're just going to go in.
Yeah, gets the EMP onto nearly everybody, and then Brazil takes the opportunity to jump on the rest of the team. They haven't gotten any kills quite yet, though. Trying to take over the position on the payload. I feel like if Brazil had gotten in there a little bit quicker, maybe they could have won a fight. That was awkward.
Slightly mistimed.
It's a bit early, I think.
It was a bit early for the EMP, and instead they don't get much from it, but they are going to get a nano-boosted Reinhardt into the mix.
Oh, Alamo down already. The grab comes in for Austria. And that's going to be a pretty easy team fight win responding. But, you know, Brazil was definitely kind of out of sorts after that last fight. Neil. He's on his own. You know, Neil's got this kind of, you know, a name like Neil. That's kind of a name where you can say it in a very disappointed sounding way. I don't want to about that. I think this weekend I've been mostly saying it like, whoa, Neil. A lot of great charms, but sometimes you're like, Neil.
You also got Steven on Austria. So
Steven.
We're not going with the most creative names here.
Hey, the Overwatch all the vowels, though. Isn't that creative? Here we go, Brazil coming in again. A rally on the side of Austria, though, to keep everybody armored up. And now Neil separated from the rest of his team.
Big Earthshash.
That's right. Oh, the self-destruct gets thrown in. Mini-Me gets caught by it, and Brazil coming back in this fight to try to hold point B. It looks like they'll finally get a little bit of breathing room here.
No barrier to stop the Earth Shatter, and now the Stagger coming in. Mr. Dragon.
Oh, no. Somewhere Daenerys Targaryen is just appalled by this.
The treatment of Mr. Dragon.
Where are my dragons? Sorry. He's going back to spawn now.
At least hey, those dragons come back too, I guess.
Yep. See, I think Gendry is really the Lucio of the Game of Thrones universe with how fast that guy can apparently run. Here we go. Vetter takes on Eclipse. Oh, he gets two actually for Brazil. Now there's solid defense from these guys, and they've got themselves in a better position now. This is a better point to start to hold B from.
Yeah, especially when Liko is mega charged right now. You've nearly got 6 ultimates. Austria going to be a little bit behind in the ult economy game, and they're currently hiding around the corner right here. And Ole topping up his allies as they fall back to the choke point right now. But they're really making Austria fight this. Austria now, upper hall is going to be their advance, and they're just going to get caught on the downswing.
Hey, there's a grab, man. It's going to cause the sound barrier to come out from Austria. Grab from Austria now to bring in a bunch of members of Brazil, which caused the sound barrier to come out from Brazil. And finally, after all that's said and done, the kills come in, and mostly they're going the way of the Brazilian team. Austria having to use those ults a little bit later, put themselves at arguably a bit of a disadvantage.
Yeah, Futurama told me that perfectly symmetrical violence never solves anything, but it seemed to solve that fight for Brazil.
That was a little bit offset, I would say. You know, generally whoever's sound barriers last.
Offset violence.
Yeah, that's right.
Solves everything. Okay.
There you go. Trying to use the London Spitfire spray to get power. The power of the champion.
Holding on to 2 tank ultimates right now. Minute 45 left, and there's a charge engage again from Brazil.
Oh, Neely's down though in Austria. They were ready. Transcendence comes in to save a lot of people, and Sensonic all charged up and doing tons of damage. Roasted the mech and 2 other members of Brazil, and you know, I feel like to a certain extent, Brazil's fights are starting to get a bit predictable. You're always going to have Neil charging into your face, and
I mean, you do wonder about that when you also have the Diva Bomb, because you can actually just throw the Diva Bomb in and then charge it after it and create more space for yourself. So it's a bit of a head scratcher, I think.
It's going to be nearly point B for Austria. They haven't taken it quite yet, but they are doing damage now. The grab gets used. Meanwhile, there's the self-destruct. No kills out of that one though for Brazil. Austria still fighting to take point B, and now with Vetter going down, it looks like they finally will. 2:26 on the clock, a bit of time to get through C.
I mean, because Neil died at the start of that engagement, they used that Graviton Surge. They tried to combo it, but couldn't get any damage done with the self-destruct because they only caught Watt 7 in the Graviton. So now Brazil will be coming back forward. Sonic's here with the grab of his own, looking for it, does get it on the corner, but it's only due to who's caught.
Yeah, put it on the wall to try to be a bit trickier, not have it get eaten. Only 1 kill out of that for Austria, though. Brazil, of course, has a fast respawns, and now Steven goes down, self-destruct in the back, not catching anybody. Brazil with enough kills and the damage, and the armor rather, from the rally to hold this point for a bit.
Rarity that you see back-to-back fights where the team using the Graviton loses the fight on both occasions. That's what we're gonna get here. With Austria and Brazil pretty drained at this point in time.
Clever positioning by Brazil.
Yeah, they're gonna come around the back and try and drop down. They are discovered though.
That's right, gonna try to go in anyway. Dudu drops in with shield charge, gets pinned immediately by Wat7. Shubash came in a bit early there. Meanwhile, Liko, again, lots of damage. He's gonna go ahead and just throw in a couple right clicks. Austria down, and yeah, you're gonna save that grab. It's the only ult that Brazil has at the moment. They're gonna have a couple support ultimates when they respawn, but Austria's gonna be nearly there.
Yeah, they're gonna be in the same situation. Rally goes down early, just enough time to get that armor on all the members. Dudu gonna come in, but Wat7 doesn't get the shatter. He was trying to be sneaky.
Man, he had such a great opportunity, just pulled the trigger a bit early. Now the grab for Brazil, trying to pair that with the Coalescence, but they pair it with the self-destruct with a bit more success. 2 for better. Austria pushed back, and 40 seconds remaining. Mini-Me knows it, sees the writing on the wall, and he's gonna take a dive. Quick reset from Austria. They've got 30 seconds left. One more push to try to get it done on King's Row.
And you are thrilled if you're Brazil. You have a shatter, that's gonna slow them down, and you have your sound barrier. Austria used their sound barrier in their last fight, did force the self-destruct and Coalescence in concert with the Graviton, but
maybe not.
All right. That's the sound barrier, not quite enough to stop all of that damage coming through. And Neil playing the mind games right now.
Yeah, they've got that sound barrier, which is gonna be really useful. Just pushing Austria back to the threat of the Earth Shatter enough to keep Austria off the payload. They gotta get there. They got to get there right now. Less than a second remaining. And they barely touch in the end. Neil charges through again.
Here we go.
Typical Brazil goes around the back, does damage. Nice fire strike through everybody. And Brazil manages to keep Austria off the payload. Eclipse pooped off mid-transcendence. He's like, I must go. My people need me. No, literally, there's a bunch of Omnics down there. And it's going to be round 1 complete with Austria not quite making it to the end of King's Row.
Neil is so clever, I think, sometimes the way that he plays this Reinhardt, because he'll charge one of the tanks off. And notice how he does it. He charges the Diva or the Zarya off to the side, and he won't finish these eliminations, right? He just goes in, and then he tries to flank around and misposition the other Reinhardt. There's just nothing that Wat7 can do. He knows it's coming, but it's just too fast with the charge going into his team for the reposition. It's really nice play from Neil.
Yeah, it's tricky. I mean, with as crazy aggressive as this guy is, and with as many suspect charges as he does, he really does find some good angles sometimes. He's good at repositioning when a team fight begins after he charges, if he lives.
Yes. Yeah, and I just think like a lot of Brazil's issues have come in on some of these engagements that they're becoming too predictable now with the charge engages, and when they have a little bit of variance, when he's like trying to fake out the charge there a bit, or trying to mind game them with the shatter, which I'm sure Austria knew that he had. It's sometimes about these charges where he goes off to the side and stays relatively safe instead of going into the middle of the mob by himself. That are the most effective, and it's a good example of it. And you know, that's a play right there that I think most Reinhardt players can easily use in their own games, right?
Totally.
Because when you're on that defense on point C, that's a cute trick.
Well, another thing too, like you mentioned, if you're going to be charging your Reinhardt right into the middle of the enemy team, then you should really do something like throw the Diva self-destruct in ahead of it, so that
it's about coordination.
Because again, that's also something that keeps your Reinhardt safe, right? Because if they've got to worry about that self-destruct, they're not going to be able to focus down your tank as quickly.
Yeah, absolutely agree there.
Well, it's going to be Austria on the defense now. They've got the Junkrat out. Looks like it's going to be the sniper package too, with Mini-Me on Mercy, Mr. Dragon Ball on the Widowmaker, and Eclipse on the Ana. They are going to try to exploit the fact that Brazil's coming out again with that 3-3. Going to try to get some big biotic grenades for the anti-healing in there.
Well, stuck in a trap. Ooh, that's a lot of barrier damage that they've suffered just to get through that choke point now.
Yeah, the headshot onto Eclipse. Red's coming in, though.
Well, he might die immediately again. Liko tried to jump up onto the high ground. Oh, they got too aggressive.
I mean, it was good protection there. That Liko went for that kill. But Austria sent their tanks up there to try to protect it. Oh, another headshot comes through. Liko finds Steven this time. It's not something you want to see if you're Austria, but Brazil has been losing some people. That is a fast Dragon Strike, and now with the volley, finishes off Wat7. Gonna duke it out, sniper to sniper. Liko does a little bit of damage to Mr. Dragon Ball, gets sealed up, but meanwhile, that point is being capped by Brazil. And It looks like it will be capped by Brazil.
Yeah, eventually, Sensonics finally debacked. Mini-Me doing his
Yeah.
best to stall out the point. Liko,
Whoa.
a fancy shot
Dude,
mid-air on Eclipse.
he is hitting some good shots with this Hanzo here. Nearly up to another Dragon Strike as well, 70%.
All right, so Brazil is maybe taking a page out of America's book right now and push all the way up. Okay, they're not going quite so far due to the one back with the cart instead of their Lucio player Alemão.
Brazil also didn't have those split spawns that the U.S. had on their
that was
to exploit, yeah, or the attack rather. So yeah,
So they're not going. Alemão now back with the payload too, getting it moving just a little bit quicker with both supports. So they're not going to commit to this. They need to back off pretty fast. Remember, they do not have a speed boost to get out of this back to the payload.
Tyre got hit a couple times by Liko. 30 damage. Oh, he manages to get him in the end. 8 HP left on that Tyre. That's a tough one for Brazil. They've still pushed the payload a little bit farther, but now Austria trying to pincher them in. Here comes the self-destruct. No kills out of that one, though. I guess it does get Vetter's mech anyway. Mr. Dragonlaw, swap over onto the Doomfist, trying to exploit these narrow corridors, too.
Liko respawned and immediately disposed of by the nano-boosted Winston. And now the swaps are coming. Vetter wants to go on to Zarya. It's probably the last change they're going to make on this for the Streets phase. And there you go.
Grenade.
Very nice grenade indeed.
Right, sleep
and
dart,
also
too.
the sleep dart,
Wow.
beautiful.
Right.
Canceling out the coalescence.
I love watching Ana. Definitely my favorite support to watch. So many cool plays. Ooh, 17 HP. That was a scary moment for Watt 7, but he pops that primal just in time. Goes after Liko, trying to track him down. Hanzo is evasive though, but he can't evade the fist. Mr. Dragonlaw comes in with the rocket fist in the end to get him. Watt 7 though taken out in the end. Didn't get a lot of use out of that primal rage, and the payload still rolling forward.
Yeah, that might be the last defense. Steven, maybe you can make some magic with the Junkrat Tyre, because Austria will have enough members to contest the payload, and they'll have an ult to do it all the way from spawn if they want to. Neil, he's creeping.
He's sneaking up. Hard to sneak in that armor, but Neil can do it. They're going in. Oh, Doomfist found him though. He's in big trouble.
Oh,
He's dead.
no.
You don't want to meet a Doomfist in a narrow corridor.
As the saying goes.
Yep, that's right. As my mom always told me. Don't be stuck in the air ducts when Doomfist is around.
Well, that ended up being a relatively substantial misplay. If Liko doesn't switch either, he wasted that Dragon Strike. And their main tank was not there to create any room.
I mean, he's got time to build another one before Vetter has the Graviton Surge, so you can see a reason to stick with it. But it is rough. And now you get those really long run backs when you've got the payload stalled out at the end of B. This is where it gets tough if you're the attacking team. They're going to loop all the way around the side now. All right, Mr. Dragonlaw going in, gets the uppercut, and he's going to go ahead and Meteor Strike, trying to catch a few people. That looks pretty good, but the sound barrier preventing a lot of damage. He manages to get out, though. Mini-Me not so lucky. Do you go back in? Wow, I'm surprised he actually took that one. Alemão out of the way, but yeah, Liko right there. That was a dangerous engage for Mr. Dragonlaw to go for, and that's going to open the door for Brazil, I think, to win this fight, finish off B.
It's just Eclipse left over. That will be the completion of B. Plenty of tools left. Like you said, Doa, Liko now with that Dragon Strike. They maintained Vetter's Graviton Surge, so they do have a combo.
Yep.
And clear out Austria. Sensonics be looking for a chance to eat one or both of those abilities.
Liko chased away. Get a little bit of armor from the Brigade in the end. The Tyre coming in. They're going to try to go for the combo. I think they really, okay, they caught Steven with it when he was sending out the Rip Tyre, but that's about it. Not the big combo you want out of the Graviton Surge plus the Dragon Strike. Better down though. Brazil trying to push. Short-handed. Steven going to swap her to the far in the meantime. On the side.
Still trying to push these tanks off the payload. Grinding their way through, and they do eventually force Austria to go back, but Watt 7's going to re-engage thanks to a nano boost and a nice biotic grenade.
No kidding. It's looking good for Austria as they push Brazil out. Mr. Dragonlaw, again, success on the Doomfist.
It's been a while since I've seen so many fights with these Graviton Surges be lost by the team that has it.
Yeah.
It's been a little bit of mistiming on both the Austrian and the Brazilian side.
It has been odd. I mean, last time it just seemed like Brazil just didn't catch anybody with it. Whoa! Nearly got there. Oh, we found him anyway. Came around the side. Now the meteor strike. Gonna bring him back. Doesn't get the damage done to Dudu. Tries to escape. Punches a payload, because, you know, sometimes you gotta take your anger out on something, right?
Might as well be the payload, I suppose.
Better to payload than anybody else.
All right, Liko on McCree now. They've had enough of these Pharah shenanigans. It's time to shoot her out of the sky.
Oh.
And Mr. Dragon is going to go and get bopped straight by the Brigitte. Not sure that was the play.
Yeah. You don't want to jump into the mosh pit where everybody is moshing against you. If that makes any sense. Trust me, it does.
I think every mosh pit, people are moshing against you. I think that's the purpose.
Sometimes you're co-moshing. I verified this with my own brain, and I found it to be correct. Steven has that barrage. Oh, the self-destruct sent in as a Reinhardt goes off the edge. Watt 7 finds a primal rage kill. And Austria again with the hold. They are on the verge of winning this map. Only 1 minute more to defend for them. They can try to tie up this series.
In a pretty decent position right now. Valkyrie to last long enough to maybe get some of their other ultimates online. And so far, the swap to the Cowboy hasn't been as effective as Brazil might have wanted. Liko has to stay very far back, but it leaves him vulnerable to the dive, and he's still going to take a rocket. Has to even bail out to get a health pack.
Oh, Mr. Dragonlaw down already, so the Doomfist out of the way. Liko already has that dead eye. Ooh, that Winston nearly dead. He gets a health pack anyway, but it's not going to be enough. Nice flashbang. And the finish for Liko. The payload is moving. I don't know. We've got the rally coming out from Brazil as well. So everybody powered up here before the end is when Alamau does have the sound barrier too. So Brazil, they have the defensive tools to win a fight here.
Back off right now. Dudu has the barrier, so he can maintain that present sleep right after the shatter.
I don't think he really caught too many with it anyway. It's going to be Mini-Me floating ahead, trying to keep Steven all healed up. Feder does get the kill on Mr. Dragonball again, losing some health, but he's got the barrage. And a good barrage could end it in favor of Austria if he can get the right position. Tries to do it, goes from afar, but gets a lot of that absorbed, and Liko just plucks him out of the sky with the headshot. Brazil just trying to grind forward. Nice Deadeye kill. Onto Eclipse, actually. He's not done yet. Mr. Dragonball stunned by the flashbang. Doesn't get the armor he needs, or shields rather, from connecting with those abilities. And Brazil, against all odds, they get to use those defensive ultimates to try to stay in this fight. Now they've got to deal, though, with the Wrecking Ball. And here's where it gets irritating. He did get flashbang, though. All right, trying to stay alive. Got to live till that next shield if possible. He's trying, man. He's taking some damage. Synsonic's back with the Diva. Not a lot of support. Here comes a pound 3 knocked airborne.
They can't kill this Wrecking Ball.
They can't kill me up, and it doesn't matter because they get the payload there anyway. And Brazil goes up 2-0.
So bumping them off at the end.
Yep.
Narrow victory for the Brazilian side. Stout defense from Austria, but Brazil puts themselves one map away from winning this series.
That's right. We'll have a bit of a break soon, but this is going to put Brazil in a good position here. Now they get a chance to kind of calm down, can review those first couple games, decide how they want to approach the next two. Meanwhile, Austria definitely did put up a good fight, but couldn't quite come out with the win yet in maps 1 and 2. And remember, both of these teams want to end the day 2-2 to try to keep their BlizzCon hopes alive. But for now, though, let's send it over to Puckett on the floor. He's got Liko for an interview.
Thank you so much, Doa. That's right. Give it up for Liko. You've seen him on Pharah. He opened up that attack on Hanzo, and I want to start here with you. Have you always been a DPS monster? Like, what other roles can you bring to the table here in Overwatch?
I like to think so, but I think that I have a pretty good hero pool. I can play pretty much every DPS, and I can also flex to some off tanks, so I think that it really helps our team so we can do a lot of comps.
Well, you guys had a very fun match against USA earlier. You ended up taking Junkertown to close things out there. Now you have a chance to go up and take a win against Austria if you're able to continue this in the second half. What is the goal for the team right now? You've already played some of the Juggernaut teams. What are you looking at right now? What is success for Brazil?
Seeing as right now we're playing Austria, and next we have Switzerland, which have showed so far that they're the two weakest groups weakest teams in a group. We're hoping to solidify the third place in the group since we beat Norway, so that's what we're looking forward to.
Well, I see the chat. There's a lot of people behind Mr. Honorato in the chat constantly here, but I want to give you a chance to say anything to all the fans watching at home. I know they've been proud, they've been loud, they've been supporting you guys this entire time.
I love you guys. Thank you so much for all your support. It really means a lot, and Thank you. Please keep cheering us up because it really helps us.
All right, there we have it. One more time. Give it up for Brazil. We'll see if they can lock it up in the second half. That's coming up in just a moment.